Well, good morning and welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder, and this is BRN AM for Monday, July 13th, 2020. And our top stories today, we'll take a look at this week's DCIA Spark Public Policy Forum, and then talk about some new DCIA research. Joining me now to discuss this and a lot more is Lou Minsky. He's the president and CEO of the Defined Contribution Institutional Investment Association. Lou, thanks for joining us on the program this morning.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, it's great to chat with you. And last week we had your counterpart at Spark, Tim Rouse, on talking about the upcoming virtual public policy conference. And Wednesday, Wednesday it's starting. Wanted to get your thoughts first about just the virtual conference in general, what that has been like, kind of transitioning your organization to more of a virtual feel. And then maybe go into a little bit more about what people can expect on Wednesday. But let's talk about the virtual conference. What's the transition like?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's been really part of a much broader transition from, running an organization that is, very much grounded in bringing people together and collaborating and networking, to one that is doing that, but in a virtual way. So, we've been shifting a lot of our programming to a virtual environment, be it webinars, networking events. But this is by far the biggest undertaking. And I know you spoke with Tim last week about this, but, late last year, he and I had gotten together and created this vision around our public policy forums where we would work together and host both kind of a traditional domestic-based public policy forum, but then create a new inaugural event focused on global issues and bringing leaders together from around the world. So mashing those two together in the virtual environment and figuring out how to do that in this new platform has been a challenge, but also been a lot of fun. And we've got a great series of events this summer set up for the community. And as you mentioned, kicking off next Wednesday with, I think a great start focused on the U.S. side of things with regulators from the DOL and Treasury, and then staff members from Capitol Hill, along with a presentation from Representative Rowe from Tennessee. So should be a great start.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Tim shared with us a little bit about the topics that are going to be flowing through, but there's so much going on in the industry. And I know we're going to talk about some of the great research that the team at DCIA does, the community at DCIA does in our second segment. But, lots going on Capitol Hill for a lot of reasons. We had the Secure Act pass in late 2019. And Lou, honestly, it seems like ages ago. We all had, waited with bated breath, waiting for that appropriations bill to pass. And here we are, fast forward into now July, dealing with the CARES Act. Let's go back to maybe what we could expect. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, and I know you don't want to put words in the mouth of the people that you're going to have come on from Capitol Hill. But what might we expect if viewers are going to tune in on Wednesday?
Sure. Yeah. So I think all the way through the day on Wednesday we'll have perspectives on policy. So starting with Representative Rowe, who I know the Spark folks have worked a lot with, and he's been a champion of a number of issues in our industry. Serves on the Education and Labor Committee in the House. And then, with the DOL and Treasury panel, as you and I'm sure many of your viewers know, the DOL in particular has been very active of late in issuing guidance. And so it'll be great to hear from them about what they've issued, the process going forward, some of their priorities. And quite honestly, a lot of those themes will flow throughout the weeks of the summer series. So, the guidance they issued on the use of private equity and other alternative investments, we have a discussion specifically on that. The guidance they issued on ESG, we have an ESG panel. They issued updated fiduciary guidance. We have an interesting discussion coming up on the role of employers in the system and how that may evolve over time. So, I think really interesting stuff coming there. And then, with the Hill panel, as you mentioned, Secure, we all thought was, the big thing that would be focused on this year. The coronavirus has changed that in many ways, and now we've
Yeah.
got the CARES Act. But I think we'll talk a little bit with them about some of the short-term priorities given the pandemic and the CARES Act and other related discussions, but also put the wide-angle lens back on and talk about what the implications of Secure are and what some of the next steps may be in terms of long-term financial and retirement security legislation.
Yeah, I got to hand it to, well, first, let's go back to the teams at Spark and DCEA. Amazing work. I'm sure you mentioned the heavy lift to try to put this into place. You already had a great team that was used to putting in great programming. Now you do it in a digital format. That's amazing. And when I look at, you talk about the Capitol Hill staffers, they have had a tremendous amount of work to do. They haven't stopped because they, as you mentioned, Secure Act into COVID. They're probably still working on COVID. And there's some other pieces of legislation that are probably still being worked on. So credit to everyone for kind of pausing for a few minutes to come together and do this. I mean, from a numbers standpoint, when we talked to Tim last week, you had over 1,000 people enrolled or subscribed. Any feeling for what you could ultimately wind up getting?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We're definitely going to do a push in the coming week to make sure we get the word out. And one of the things I want to emphasize is, unlike our in-person events where we're always capacity constrained and we actually have to put artificial limits on the ability of each firm to send folks, here we're unconstrained. And so, hoping to see firms get people who wouldn't normally be exposed to a DCEA or Spark conference the ability to participate. So who knows, maybe 2-3 times that number in the end. We'll see.
And it's all recorded too, so people can tune in. And just real quick, Lou, before we go to a commercial break, this is all free of charge, right? So there's no cost. So people should, I mean, if I'm a record keeper or someone who manages a lot of people, they could presumably have a lot of people attend, as you're saying, and even people at a more junior level learn about what is going on. From my point of view, it seems like this is really like the go-to opportunity to bring a lot of people together in our community and outside our community to talk about all these important issues. Yeah,
I think that's right. I mean, one of the things Tim and I talked about as we were thinking about the structure of this event, given the times we live in, is how can we make this as accessible as possible? Use this as an opportunity to bring more people into the community, into the discussion. And I know for DCEA, we see this as a great opportunity to start getting some of the rising stars in the industry, tomorrow's leaders, engaged in the dialogue in a way that'll help us as an organization, help Spark, but also help our member firms in making those opportunities available to some of their younger employees.
Yeah, people should certainly check it out. There'll be a registration link. Should be in the graphics as we're talking, but if not, we'll post it below in the show notes. Lou, I want to go to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to learn more about DCEA and also some of the latest research that they have going on. You're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms? Especially for the smaller businesses. I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
The windows on our homes, they protect us and the ones we love, but they do much more. At Renewal by Andersen, making your home more comfortable is at the center of every window we make. It's why we custom build our windows in America and install them in as little as 1 day. It's why we build our frames with exclusive Fibrex composite material that's 2 times stronger than vinyl. It's why our glass helps keep your home warmer in winter, cooler in summer, and quieter all year long. It's why we stand behind every window with a 20-year limited warranty. Why not help lower your energy costs while giving your home and family the best? Call 1-800-835-6525 to schedule a free in-home consultation. Buy one, get one at 40% off with this special offer. Plus, get special financing with no money down, no monthly payments, and no interest for 1 full year. Renewal by Andersen, the better way to a better window. Call 1-800-835-6525 now.
Welcome back. We're talking to Lou Minsky. He's the president and CEO of the Defined Contribution Institutional Investment Association. Lou, thanks for staying with us this morning.
Yeah, thrilled to be
here. Yeah, it's great to have you, and so much work going into the virtual event. It sounds like it's going to be a blast, especially for a heuristic geek like myself. But I want to learn a little bit more. I think the audience would love to learn a little bit more, I should say, about DECIA. So let's talk about who DECIA is, what you do, who the member firms are. I think that'd be really instructive.
Great. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So DECIA is an organization that really focuses on bringing all of the different parts of the retirement savings ecosystem together and getting people focused on what we can do collaboratively, collectively to improve financial security, and through the defined contribution saving system, improve the retirement security of America's workers. We've been doing that for about 10 years now. Actually, had our 10th anniversary in January of this year. And yeah, we're really excited about the partnership we forged this year with Spark, which we really see as an opportunity to take some of that to the next level.
Yeah, and your members, I mean, it really runs the gamut, right? You've got employee benefits lawyers, you've got asset managers, record keepers. It really is the who's who in the retirement industry. I mean, I can't think of a type of firm that is not part of DECIA, excuse me.
Yeah, well, hopefully that's right. If there are any, we'd love to have them. But yeah, we try, as I said, to bring the different parts of the ecosystem together. Mm-hmm. Our organization doesn't lobby. We focus on driving thought leadership and discussion, ultimately closing knowledge gaps and finding ways to improve retirement security. Kind of, I try to say, we're not really a think tank, we're more of a do tank.
I like that. Well, I think we need a little bit more of doing, and thinking is good too. Lou, let's talk about some of the research that you all have done. I mean, I see a lot of it. It gets written about in a litany of different publications nationally. But what are some of the things that viewers who are not familiar with DECIA might be able to familiarize themselves with in terms of the type of research you're doing? You're covering, as you said, all different gamuts of things.
Yeah, great, thanks. So we've actually taken some steps recently to take our research capabilities up to the next level. So ever since our founding, we've been focused on trying to uh, you know, drive people toward solutions that improve retirement and financial security. And what we found over the years is we did a really good job of identifying research that was out there in the marketplace, helping to drive additional research, seeing where there were gaps in understanding and bringing people together to close them. But we didn't really have a lot of capability around actually executing on proprietary research.
Mm-hmm.
And so a few years ago, at the direction of our executive committee, we started looking at ways to close that gap. We hired Warren Cormier, who some folks listening may know, who's a very prominent researcher in the industry. And with Warren, we've been building out our research capabilities. Earlier this year, formally launched our research center. And through that research center, we have a series of core projects that we will be working on, but also with partners in the research center have identified different pillars where we'll incubate research projects over time. So, some of the core projects include, our stake in the ground plan sponsor survey. We have an existing project that looks at the custom target date universe and sizes it and looks at how it's evolving over time. We've also built out a project in the retirement plan advisor space where we're going to basically identify what that market looks like and track how it evolves over time. And then we actually are working right now with the existing secure choice states on building some core projects with them, looking at how the secure choice programs are doing at incubating plan formation in the private sector and how they're doing in helping to close the coverage gap. So, those are some of the core projects, but we're also working with our partners around the pillars, which are, minding the gap. So, closing not just coverage gap, coverage gap, but also looking at where there are areas where some groups are being left behind in terms of savings rates, financial security. Retirement income is another pillar that we're focused on, along with investment projects and decision making, looking at how different segments of the industry make decisions. So it's just a few of the many areas we're working on.
So Lou, you don't sleep. That's what it sounds like. I mean, it sounds like you're reading a lot of white papers, writing white papers. It sounds like you're up 24/7.
Well, definitely blessed to have a great team, and so luckily a lot of help in doing all of that. But we're definitely working hard, and the pandemic has definitely made it interesting to try to keep up with all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess last question, Lou. I mean, you mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, we talked about maybe some of the recent DOL rulings. We had the private letter ruling on alternatives. We had something come out, I think, a week and a half ago on ESG. Obviously, there's a clear focus on investments from some of the regulators, but I know you and the team and some of your sister or cousin organizations, I don't know how to refer to them. I mean, there's definitely some movement going there in terms of diversifying investments and making sure that participants have access to all different investment types, right? I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's a lot of what it's about.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, since the beginning, we've been focused on bringing the right people to the table, helping to facilitate conversations among key stakeholders, and ultimately helping to nudge the industry in a direction that drives better long-term retirement security outcomes. So clearly the two areas you mentioned, the opportunity to expand the toolkit of the types of investments available to fiduciaries in the retirement savings system, and really understanding the opportunities around socially responsible investing, and getting the U.S. more in line with where the rest of the world is on those considerations, are natural areas for DCEA to act as a facilitator, as you mentioned, with some of those sister organizations. And so, look forward to working with all of them.
Yep. Sometimes it takes a prod, other times it takes a cattle prod, Lou. Well, Lou, always a pleasure chatting with you. Good luck with this week's virtual conference kickoff. And we look forward to having you and the organization back on the program very soon.
Great. Thanks a lot.
And that wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest to someone you think we should talk to? Drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the news in retirement, markets, technology, personal finance, and more, check out today's edition of The Morning Pulse. So until tomorrow, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes.
Attention! The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services has officially authorized new benefits that Medicare Advantage plans may include. To get the benefits you deserve, you can call the Medicare Coverage Helpline.
Hi, I'm Joe Namath. If you're on Medicare, this is important information. I called the Medicare Coverage Helpline and they instantly looked up my coverage. In this one simple call, they offered to enroll me in a plan that includes rides to medical appointments, private home aides, doctors and nurses' visits by telephone, and even home-delivered meals. The plan also includes dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage, all at no additional cost.
Don't delay. Call to see if the new benefits are available in your area.
Call the number on your screen now. It's free.
Call 1-800-757-1451. That's 1-800-757-1451.